big game from their start tonight.
Keep your eye on number 33 in the gold jersey. Missouri gets to start out on offense here on their home floor.
And Robin Pinkston told us the key for them offensively is, can they control the pace of this game? Can they control the up-in-your-face defensive pressure by Kentucky?
Kentucky likes to pressure you defensively. They like to get out and run so fast and make you play almost out of control if they can.
And this is the matchup to watch tonight. Whoever's going to be guarding Blackwell, can they contain her?
Great sign. Asia Blackwell sinks her first bucket. You see the Kentucky starters. Amanda Pascal, number 12 in the blue jersey, getting the start in place of Ryan Howard.
And already, Mizzou has flipped the script, turning Kentucky's turnover into 2 easy transition points.
Jordan Roundtree, the senior out of St. Louis, gets the bucket, and Mizzou's got a 4-point lead.
And Courtney, we got to imagine it's going to be a little bit of a transition piece. Yes, Kentucky has played without Ryan Howard on the court, but now they don't have that security blanket. Who's going to step up tonight for them?
They throw it in. Tatiana Wyatt. Hannah Schutz is there to block the shot. Yeah, Ryan Howard has been a player that when they need her run the point, she can do it. When they need her to post up, she can do it. And now that option isn't there for Kentucky.
And more importantly is when they need a bucket, she's always been there. Miss Clutch in the shot clocks. So it's going to take a little time for Kentucky to kind of get in their groove. But the one thing they have to do is keep this game close, because Mizzou's been known to start off quick in their games.
Missouri has just had trouble sustaining that hot start. Hence their 5-15 record this season after 4 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Amanda Pascal's shot is way off, and there's a rebound by Amber Smith.
And Mizzou's known for their 5-out motion offense, just looking to pick you apart, but they can also run some sets, as we're seeing here.
Oh, what a pass from Blackwell, but Hannah Schutz in trouble. And the foul is going to be called on Amanda Pascal. First foul of the game.
I was going to say, Schutz kind of got bailed out there, because you could tell she was not ready for that pass from Blackwell. And unfortunately, Pascal lost her balance and knocked her over.
Oh, Kentucky's got him covered up. And there's a steal. Blair Green. Green drives and kicks. And it's a blocking foul called on Jordan Roundtree.
Well, we said Kentucky needs to be able to score off those turnovers. And I thought Roundtree was set based on that replay.
Now we saw Blair Green drive in and kick out to number 1 in that blue jersey, Sabrina Haynes. You feel like she could be key for them tonight?
Well, she was huge in the win over Auburn. When Howard had to leave the floor, she picked up the scoring slack. And she's one of those players, can knock it down from deep, but she needs playmakers on the floor who can set her up to do just that, and that's shoot the 3.
Sabrina Haynes takes the shot in and out. Started her basketball career at Arizona State before becoming a Kentucky Wildcat. Blackwell breaking down Jada Roper. She certainly has the size advantage, and Roper called for the foul.
Well, and that's what makes Blackwell such a difficult matchup. She has height, a big height advantage over Roper just then, so she just backed her down. But she's got such great strength that she can power it up and go through whether they're taller or stronger players. Very impressive for a freshman.
You see her average 13 points per game, almost 6 rebounds a game. She is leading Missouri in her freshman season in points per game.
Well, in a lot of ways, you can almost compare her to Ryan Howard and the fact that she can play almost every position on the floor as well. I've seen her bring the ball up against pressure. We've seen her on the wing. We've seen her down low, because she could definitely post you up. So maybe this is the future Ryan Howard in the making in Blackwell.
Well, Missouri was certainly like that, wouldn't they? Man, Kentucky is 0 for 3 from the field, and Kiki McKinney takes a long 2 that's in and out. They dump it down to Amber Smith. Kicks to Chavis for the long ball. Pascal does a good job of boxing out.
Well, Matthew Mitchell told us Amanda Pascal does whatever we need her to do, which is why he inserted her into the starting lineup tonight. A little bit of a veteran player here coming on the road in this environment.
Missouri's defense just stuffed her in the paint. Blackwell loses it. Look at the effort from Haynes. That's got to score. There you go. Wide open cut into the basket.
Well, I was going to say the turnover's great, but can Kentucky convert? Great patience to hit the streaking Haynes, who was just trailing in transition. Almost fitting that Haynes was the one that scored, because she's the one that made this offensive series happen by getting on the floor and keeping the ball alive for Kentucky.
Kentucky takes it right back, so Pascal will inbound. That's already 3 turnovers by Missouri.
Well, that's one thing. Kentucky does not let up with that defensive pressure. As soon as they score, they're going to make it hard for you. We'll see it here now to get the ball in bounds. And then once you get it in bound, can you calm yourself down, clear everybody out, and just take the ball up one-on-one?
Watching Missouri's practice yesterday, they struggled with the press break. Frank picks up her dribble. 7 seconds on the shot clock for Mizzou. Shot rims out. It'll be Kentucky ball. Well, Matthew Mitchell was interested to see how this Kentucky team would respond without Ryan Howard. But, you know, there have been times where Ryan Howard has been in foul trouble, and they've had to get stuff done. And they've been able to do that. They only have 3 losses on the season.
Well, I did their Florida game early this year, and Mitchell, Howard sat the majority of the first half, and it was Chastity Patterson who picked it up big time in that game. So this is not a one-dimensional team. I don't mean to say that at all, but you wonder when you have a star like Howard that everything goes through offensively, how does everyone respond? Right now, Sabrina Haynes is doing a great job herself.
Haynes and Pascal, the only 2 Kentucky Wildcats to have scored early on in this one. Another turnover. That's 4 turnovers now for the Tigers. This is Chastity Patterson, who you were talking about, number 15 in that blue jersey, who took over in that Florida game. That's a travel. Early on, Kentucky's got a 1-point lead over Missouri.
Gel group, who when things are going bad, can solidify and calm everybody down.
Maybe the gold pants will bring a little luck to Robin Pinchton's crew tonight. I like them.
Robin Pinchton is rocking the gold pants.
That's confidence right there. And that's a travel on Haley Troop.
This is one of the things, when Kentucky's getting out there on that on-ball screen, you cannot kill your dribble. The only power you have as a ball handler is to keep your dribble alive.
Patterson kicks back to Haynes, and they go inside to Kiki McKinney.
Well, for both these teams, they don't have your traditional low post presence. Their post will come out and look to beat you from the outside.
What a spin from Amanda Pascal. 8 straight points for the Cats.
Matthew Mitchell said she'll do whatever it takes. Well, that was that and then some. A beautiful finish at the rim.
Meanwhile, Missouri has hit no field goals and turned it over 5 times in the last 5 minutes.
Well, one thing when you run a motion offense, when it's good, it's good. And when you struggle, what you find are players not moving without the ball. And right now, the screens aren't solid. Players aren't cutting as hard.
Oh, a quick foul on Sabrina Haynes. Her first.
You know, Courtney, something I'm watching as this game continues for Mizzou. They don't play a lot of players, but it's one thing to prep for high-pressure defense. It's another thing to have the stamina both physically, but more importantly, mentally, to handle that. We're already seeing they're not moving as well on the half court on offense. What's the cumulative effect of this press going to be over 40 minutes?
Yeah, and for Kentucky, we've already seen them sub several times, even though, again, they don't have Ryan Howard, and Ogechi Onyegalibo is not available in concussion protocol, but they've rotated their guards in.
Well, and Robin Pinkston is as well. You know, the issue is, can they find an offensive chemistry, that offensive flow?
Oh, man, the pass looks so good, just a little too much on that from Smith.
Well, this is the thing about Blackwell. I feel like she is the best playmaker on this team. She's also one of the better low post players. And so if I'm in goal tonight, I'm going to have my hands ready. I just think Amber Smith got rushed on that release versus finishing at the rim.
Amber Smith was called for the foul, too. That is her first.
And I just feel like for this inexperienced Mizzou team, you've got to have your veteran. And Amber Smith must stay on the floor, so she's got to avoid those kind of silly fouls.
Kentucky's offense started 0 for 5, and since they have gone 4 of 5, they just called 3 seconds on the Cats.
Well, you know, as we were getting ready for this game, I said turnovers are going to play a big part. Already, with almost 3 minutes to go in this quarter, 9 total turnovers between the two teams.
Well, Jada Roper saved it, leaping into the arms of Matthew Mitchell, and that's an offensive foul on Chastity Patterson. Her first.
Well, Matthew Mitchell with the assist of the night so far, catching Jada Roper. Unfortunately, Kentucky could not convert because great job by Jordan Chavis to stay in the play, get back and draw that charge.
Chavis, another one of the seniors on this Missouri team. Haley Frank has to come and get it.
I've been impressed with Haley Frank in preparing. Like, she can handle the ball, she can post you up, she can shoot the three, and unfortunately can also turn it over. But this is the thing for all of the Missouri players. If they see a straight line to the rim, they need to attack early. But right now, they're trying to force the action just because they get a step on their defender. That is playing into the way Kentucky wants you to play offensively.
Kentucky has been dictating this for the last 5 minutes. No Missouri points. Jada Roper just crushed a rainbow three.
And that's huge, because to me, Roper's more of that playmaker that's setting everybody up. When she can make shots go down, it only opens up this entire Kentucky offense.
Nadia Green will come back and get it.
Courtney, I'd love to see the ball go side to side now for this Mizzou offense and make Kentucky break down to hopefully help you get a higher percentage shot opportunity.
Asia Blackwell was begging for the basketball. She's got the height advantage on Amanda Pascal down low. Well, Saturday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, it's the men's turn to take over with a hoops doubleheader. Arkansas will tip with Alabama at 6 p.m. and the nightcap heads to Nashville. Commodores still looking for that first SEC win since 2018. The Missouri men got a big win a couple days ago here inside Mizzou Arena over Georgia. A comeback win. Oh, Blackwell and Jada Roper collided hard, but good news, both getting up quickly. It's going to be the second on Roper.
And that's her. I mean, that's your steady point guard, your veteran leader for Kentucky's offense.
We were just talking about the men. There's Konzo Martin, the head coach of the Missouri men's basketball team after that win over Georgia on Tuesday. Blackwell sinks the first. She's only a 59% free throw shooter.
But those numbers have increased dramatically in SEC play, where she's almost at 76%.
It's definitely taken her some time to get comfortable with the college game.
Well, that's for any young player. The pace of play, the fact that you can never rest on offense or defense, the physicality as well. Those are all modes of transition. And Robin Pingerton told us today she was out 2 weeks before games started with an ankle injury. That also slowed her transition to the collegiate level.
And Mizzou is asking her to do so much, too. I mean, she is not just coming in and getting to learn the system on her own pace. They want her to be the player, the go-to.
Well, it's not like she's surprised anyone. She's been doing this all season long, so she is getting the majority of the scout time. It's not like teams aren't preparing for her. So what she's done in SEC play makes that even more remarkable.
Missouri hasn't had a field goal in almost 9 minutes. Patterson picks it up. This is Emma King elevating. Wow, Missouri missed their last 6 shots. Kentucky leading 11-7.
Her grandfather and her great-grandfather.
She's fourth
generation.
She's redshirting this year, but it's crazy how Missouri has kept it in the family, and they've got a lot of talented athletes doing that. Sophie Cunningham was the same way. Her family went here. We saw Kentucky's pressure really affect Missouri the last 9 minutes of that first quarter. And it's doing it again. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Chavis has got to do something. She throws it up.
Well, what I see right now, Courtney, is Mizzou is struggling to get the ball inside the Blackwell. She's had a height advantage over pretty much every player, and they have not been able to get it to her.
Haley Frank called for her first foul. You can count that bucket by Tatiana Wyatt.
Well, one thing that's obvious by Kentucky is they are trying to establish a low post game against the post players of Mizzou. We've seen Wyatt post up. We've seen McKinney post up. It's definitely part of the game plan today to get paint points.
This is a Missouri team that, I mean, just watching it, they really don't have a big post presence. Neither does Kentucky, but they would have the advantage down low in this game.
Well, Hannah Schutz, listed at 6'2", is your tallest player on the floor, but she's more of a face-up post. Definitely prefers to knock it down from deep. And so I don't disagree with this game plan in Kentucky. What I would love to see is a little inside-out action with the offense as well.
Blair Green just took that away for the 9th turnover by Missouri. They average 16 turnovers a game.
Well, that's one thing coaches will always say. Defense travels. Doesn't matter if your offense is going or not, your defense travels. And so far for Kentucky, it has in a big way.
2 points for Sabrina Haynes. She leads Kentucky with 6. There's Blackwell driving and kicking to Amber Smith. Right back to her.
But Mizzou's going to have players get on the offensive glass in order to have a chance in this game.
Chastity Patterson just takes it all the way to the rack. Look at Kentucky go. They lead Missouri 18-7. 7-0. Deep pass. Haley Frank scoops it up. She's got not much help. Kentucky just covered up Asia Blackwell.
Well, and now work your motion offense. I want the ball to go side to side, set solid screens. That's how, as a shooter, you can get open.
Seven seconds. Blackwell shot off the iron. No field goals for Missouri in their last 19 possessions. Second foul on Sabrina Haynes as they get her for the offensive foul.
And And that's big, because that's the second starter for Kentucky now that's going to the bench with their second personal foul.
And the other one is Jada Roper. Kentucky without Ryan Howard tonight. She is out with a fractured finger. She suffered on Monday against Auburn. Not expecting to have her back until mid-February. This is a player that's in running for National Player of the Year.
And if you haven't seen her, I'm sorry you're not getting that opportunity tonight, because this young lady is special. It's not just her offense that she can fill it up in a big way, but it's her defense. She leads the team in points, in rebounds, and in steals. It's a big loss for Kentucky.
You know what? She's a good teammate, too.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure to get to know her this season. Look at Kiki McKinney trying to take it.
Courtney, anytime Blackwell's getting the ball down low, count the number of blue jerseys that are swarming her.
Big bucket from Chastity Patterson. This is a player who hasn't gotten to play in a lot of games. She's only been eligible for the last 9 games now, including tonight. She transferred from Texas mid-year last season. It is hard to come in basically at the start of SEC play and start playing with a team.
And I've seen this from a couple of different players that were eligible mid-year. Yes, they're playing, but you can tell they've lacked that game experience from the non-conference season. And look out, Mizzou, because when Patterson gets going, she really gets going. Chastity Patterson can be that spark plug for Kentucky on the road today. They're in transition yet again. No one picks up ball. She just elevates at the free throw line to knock it down.
And she's had some big games. South Carolina, she was maybe one of the only bright spots in that game for Kentucky, had 15 points. You saw her with the 20 points, a career high against Florida.
And she was special. The growing pains for Chastity Patterson has been her defense, learning this Kentucky defensive system. Well, I got to tell you, I kind of laughed at that at Florida, because she was so good at all facets of the game, was taking the ball away from Florida players and converting them into points on the other end.
There's a step back 3, a little too much on it. Felt like the system at Texas just wasn't the right fit after being there. And she fits into Matthew Mitchell's fast system, that's for sure. Patterson will try the 3 again. Troop with the rebound, kicks to Blackwell. Oh, won't go. Another offensive rebound. Those are the first offensive rebounds we've seen tonight by either team.
And I just believe Mizzou's going to have to do more of that in order to get back in this game, because Kentucky has pressured them into a lot of bad first shots. No big deal. Create that second and third opportunity.
Okay, third shot for Patterson goes down. She scooted in a little bit.
All about the threes right now.
Kentucky shooting 48% to Missouri's 24% right now from the field. Mizzou started out hitting a couple of shots and then went cold for the final 9 minutes of that first quarter.
Credit Kentucky's defense a little bit with that. But this is the player I'd like to see get going now for Mizzou, and that's Amber Smith.
Jump ball possession arrow pointing to Kentucky. You know, we've already mentioned Chastity Patterson and Sabrina Haynes, who have come from other programs. Look at the transfers on Kentucky's roster right now. And we've got Nene Cole just checked in. She played for NC State before coming to Kentucky.
Well, and that's the nature of the game we're in right now. The transfer portal might as well be the 6th man for every basketball program or every collegiate program. And Matthew Mitchell has done this to his advantage, because these young ladies are playing and helping this program in a big way.
The transfer portal has got to affect how teams are recruiting now, because now you got to keep in mind, well, you know, who might be going into the portal, or is going to be a grad transfer.
Well, Courtney, I have coaching friends who have told me they have staff members who check the portal every day, because you just don't know anymore. And that's really sad to me, because it's really difficult, puts so much pressure on these coaches.
Jada Roper, what? Whew, that was spicy.
Como spicy?
with 2 fouls. Out there being fearless on offense.
Well, credit Matthew Mitchell for having faith and putting Roper back on the floor.
She's got to be real careful on Asia Blackwell.
Well, and if I'm Mizzou, I send Blackwell low with her on.
Oh, Chastity Patterson, that's mine. I'm taking it. Layup. And Missouri wants to call a timeout.
Forward, Jada Roper has the reverse layup finish going baseline.
I mean, one of the best moves I've seen all season. I love it.
Well, and that's against shoot. Real versatile. They can beat you in so many different ways. I mean, honestly, I had them last Sunday, and I sat there as a fan sometimes just watching the different ways that they can really take it to a team.
I mean, and it's everybody talks about that #1 recruiting class. You've got to talk about Ty Harris, who is the senior point guard. She's won a national championship. She's got the experience to lead this group, and the freshmen want to be led. That's the key.
Well, those freshmen help elevate Ty Harris's game as well.
South Carolina, we talked about Ty Harris. Look at their starters, averaging, combining for 57 points per game, and they're getting help from their bench too. I mean, it's a whole team effort.
Well, Destiny Henderson came off the bench against UGA and just put on a show. That's the thing. Any of those players can have an off night, and you won't even notice it if you're an opponent because they have that balance. They'll beat you from the inside. They can beat you from the outside. They can definitely beat you with their offense, but their defense can also shut you down.
South Carolina's going to play Ole Miss later tonight, coming up at 8 Eastern at the top of the hour. You can see it on the app if you haven't seen them before. Okay, Chastity Patterson is feeling it.
But I love the patience that Kentucky showed. The ball went side to side, and then the sea parted just a little bit, and Patterson made Mizzou pay.
I get the sense that Kentucky has realized they're going to have to step up with no Ryan Howard, and they're taking that on, but they're not pushing.
But what I love right now is you don't see a single player just putting up a lot of shots. What you see is that they believe in their defense, and they are letting their defense pave the way for easy offensive opportunities.
Ryan Howard is 3rd in the nation in points per game. She is out tonight with a fractured finger suffered on Monday in that Auburn game.
Great idea by Mizzou. The second time we've seen them go over the top in the press breaker. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to convert either time.
Smith on the baseline. Extra effort from Nadia Green to tip it out. And Kentucky takes it away. Emma King getting on the floor.
It is team defense by Kentucky right now. Great help side by Emma King.
Pascal just dumped it off behind her without looking. Man, we haven't seen the game that Haley Frank is used to playing tonight just yet.
Well, I think this is one of those areas where Mizzou is so sped up offensively because of the defensive pressure. I'm not a big fan of that last shot Franks took. When your offense is struggling, try to get a higher percentage shot in transition than just settling for that 15-foot jumper.
%52% from the field for Kentucky. That was tough. Franks had to go down and scoop it up off the floor.
Well, credit Blackwell that she didn't get a charge there, and she was able to dish to the Strickling Haley Frank on the weak side.
That's the second, though, on Chastity Patterson. So now Patterson, Sabrina Haynes, and Jada Roper all have 2 fouls.
So far, I don't see any movement on the Kentucky bench, so it looks like Matthew Mitchell's going to go with her.
Oh,
I stand corrected.
It's only because you said that, Christy. So Blair Green's going to come in. So Pascal will run the offense now. Oh, Chastity Patterson didn't realize that she was getting subbed out.
It happens to the best of us, Chastity.
She's in it. She's in the zone. 10 points.
If I was scoring the way she was, I would have walked the other way like, no, coach, you don't mean me right now.
Blair Green. Hey, how about that instant offense off the bench?
Matthew Mitchell knew what he was doing when he made that substitution.
Blair Green has had more and more minutes. They had Kiki McKinney, who was out with severe headaches, and they put Blair Green in the starting lineup for those 4 games. So she's gotten a lot of experience and contributed.
And Blackwell makes Kentucky pay for not getting that steal. Great job to read the defense and get to the rim.
Blackwell with 9. Nene Cole. Kentucky will speed you up. They get you going so fast. Blocking foul on Roundtree. Her second.
You gotta believe Roundtree was in the restricted area arc. I mean, she had definitely been set.
Missouri's offense has struggled so much. You can see this Kentucky defense really affecting them. Missouri shooting 21% from the field. They've only scored single-digit points in both quarters. 7 points in the first quarter, 8 points here in the second.
Well, Robin Piston said her greatest fear was pace of play. Could her players take care of the ball against this high-pressure Kentucky team and then be able to convert in the half court? And so far, her greatest fear has been materialized.
12 turnovers for Missouri, and Kentucky scored 13 points off of those turnovers.
Courtney, I've seen Kentucky struggle throughout the year with offense, but the one thing and why they continue to consistently win is they turn you over and they convert those into points, and we're seeing that here again tonight.
Blackwell hits.
So that's 2 of the last 3 possessions now. Mizzou has found some offense.
Asia Blackwell is 4 of 9. The rest of Missouri, 2 for 16. Pascal looking for the last shot. Gives it to Blair Green. That is huge. A big 3 from Blair Green to end the half. Chastity Patterson leading Kentucky with 10 points, 5 of 8 from the field. Hey, Kentucky 13-1 when they lead at the half this season. They've got their largest lead at the break. It's 34-17 Cats.
He can definitely get better at, but he's got to be pleased that they've been able to turn Mizzou over and convert that into transition points.
Yeah, 38% of Kentucky's points tonight have been off of turnovers. They averaged 33% of their points off turnovers for the season. Amber Smith, that's a good sign for Missouri coming out of the locker room.
Well, I think it's a great sign, period. Anytime a team can regroup and come out and do what your coaches ask you to do. Obviously a set play drawn up, great execution by Mizzou.
Kentucky just dictated that first half, and Blair Green was big. She hit a 3 right before the half, and the first shot, it's another 3 from Blair Green.
Well, this looks like the Blair Green of the Texas A&M game where she was just on fire. Another game, Howard had to sit because of fouls, and it didn't matter because Green just carried the offense. She's doing a lot of that again tonight.
Yeah, she tied her career high in that game with 13 points against the Aggies. Kentucky, again, just takes it. 13 turnovers for Missouri. And they convert it into points.
Well, if they have numbers, they're going to make you pay. And that time, Blackwell got caught trailing the play, and that's a no-no. You've got to get back in transition D. But the good news for Mizzou, 2 offensive possessions, great execution in both offenses.
Jada Roper's trying to front Asia Blackwell to the post.
And that's where I'd love to see the ball go from the wing to the top and then into Blackwell, so there wouldn't be any help side.
Shot gets blocked by Green. Pascal in the corner.
Well, credit Blackwell for that possession because it was a great block of the dribble penetration, and then she tries to convert that into transition points on the other end.
Oh man, that's the third foul on Sabrina Haynes. Only played 11 minutes in that first half because of foul trouble.
Haynes is frustrated. She's going out. She waved over to Matthew Mitchell saying, I'm okay, I'm okay. Coach
no.
didn't agree.
Yeah, 3 fouls, no. So Kiki McKinney will come in for Sabrina Haynes. This is a player that averages 9 points a game. You saw her numbers there. 6 points today.
Well, and I agree with Matthew Mitchell on this one. You've got other players who are scoring right now for you. That doesn't have to fall on Haynes, so don't risk it. Let her sit, let some more of this time go off the clock, and then put her back in the game.
Asia Blackwell is at the line. You see the number 9 player in that 2019 class, part of the highest recruiting class in Missouri history. This second half could be a statement point for her because you're down to a ranked team. She's the future of this Missouri program. She can take over.
She can, but it's also letting the game come to her. Like right now, anytime she catches on the low block, there are 3 or 4 blue jerseys around her. I'd love to see her kick the ball out and then maybe even repossessioning and get it back. But too much is around her right now for her to try to force shots.
Hannah Schute's called for her first foul.
Wyatt takes it up strong, and Schutz tries to protect the rim and gets called for that foul.
Well, Tatiana Wyatt is at the line, just a 50% free throw shooter. Kentucky is 5th in the SEC in free throw percentage.
She heard you.
She did.
I'll take your 50 and raise it.
Hey, that's good. With the announcer jinx actually is a good thing.
Yeah, but that's the opposite.
I know. Usually it's bad.
Oh, never mind. You're done.
Anyway. Nice, she was 50%, 1 for 2. Look, see, there you go. That's what you were calling for, Christy. Oh, then they throw it away.
I thought Amber Smith was going to kick it right back out to her, but that's kind of the inside-outside that I would like to see from Mizzou.
Jada Roper, stepped out of bounds, Missouri basketball.
But if you're Matthew Mitchell, you have to love the defensive intensity. And even there, Mizzou pretty much had that defensive rebound, and Roper stayed with it, almost forced the turnover.
No field goals for Missouri in the last 3 minutes.
Courtney, it's difficult. There's not much more Robin Pinchton can do when you have your senior post player posting up and you can't get the ball to her when the defense is playing behind. That's just fundamental basketball right now. And you can just tell it's not the X and O part for Mizzou right now. This is so much more about the mental and players just doing the little things to help one another be successful.
Yesterday's practice for Missouri was really rough. You could see that. Oh, great move from Asia Blackwell.
It's so rare to see a freshman to be that strong yet that agile. Tremendous body control. Beautiful finish.
But going back to my thought, yesterday at practice, I mean, you could see Robin Pinchton was so frustrated with this group. They actually had a player meeting afterwards right here on the court. All the coaches left and ended practice, and the players met for a long time. And we asked Robin if she knew what they talked about. She didn't, but I mean, you're losing somebody like Sophie Cunningham from last season who helped get them to 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances. And she was so much more than just one of the best players in Missouri women's basketball history, because she had that X factor of the personality, the toughness. You don't want to play against her, but she's the first person you want to pick for your team.
Well, a tremendous leader and teammate. Rob Bishop said that. You know, for everything about Sophie, she got so much out of her teammates. And she was the loudest voice in a gym. And, you know, that's the big thing, too. I see it all the time when I go into gyms right now. Not a good practice. Well, it's the coaches who are saying everything versus the players. Players have to get it figured out because they're the ones on the court.
And that's, you know, it's hard. Asia Blackwell just can't step into that role. Although, looking at her numbers, I mean, they're very similar to where Sophie Cunningham's numbers were at this time in Sophie's freshman year. But that edge, that leadership piece, that's hard to come in as a freshman and take over.
Well, I mean, it's remarkable that her numbers are so, it's eerie how similar to Sophie's they are. And you can argue that not as much was put on Sophie as a freshman. She had 4 players around her that could stretch the floor, and all 4 could score. And we've seen already again tonight how Mizzou struggles to score, and so this falls on Blackwell's shoulder to create.
Chavis launches one. Wow!
Just like they drew up in the locker room.
That is their first 3-pointer tonight.
There's some sweat on the floor, so the official blew the whistle, asking the young ladies to come out, wipe it up.
I mean, this is a Missouri team who needs the 3 in their arsenal.
Well, they come in averaging 8 a game. This is the first one of the game, and it's not even the highest percentage of all threes. Chavis having a heat.
They're not giving up a lot.
Well, and a big part of it is they don't let you have a lot because they're turning you over and forcing you to speed up. And so this is why I say I would love to see the ball go inside to out more for Mizzou, because that is one of the highest percentage 3-point shots in the game.
Chavis hits Haley Frank. Didn't take it. Asia Blackwell will take the 3. Offensive rebound.
So that possession is a great example where I only saw 1 screen after that offensive rebound by Mizzou. So it makes it easy for the defense to stand still and clog up the paint, so there's not anything there for Mizzou.
Frank coming around, and it rattles out. Kentucky's sure to get a box out. Oh, and the foul is called on Amanda Pascal. The Commodores. And then what about that the 4 spot? I mean, Kentucky's in that battle. I'm not sure about Arkansas, too.
You know, Arkansas had that bad loss to UGA last Thursday night, but that's a difficult team to prepare for. You have to control pace against Arkansas or they will run you out of the gym. And then obviously Texas A&M's another one of those teams in those top 5 or 4. And I think everybody's just still wondering, is Kennedy Carter playing yet?
Yeah, Texas A&M is in action against Georgia right now.
Well, we put so much pressure on those top 4 because of the double bye, but, you know, might we see something like another Arkansas this year that comes in from the opening day and makes a run to the finals?
Yeah, just incredible. Arkansas I don't know if they came out of nowhere, but it was just like this electric team. They just had different energy about them, and all of a sudden they're playing for the SEC championship against Mississippi State. And they have all those pieces returning.
And they're even better.
Yes.
That's the warning. You know, again, it's a unique system. Mike Neighbors is very analytical in his approach. And why UGA won that game? They control tempo. You have to keep Arkansas at a transition if you're going to have a chance to beat them.
Haley Frank was just called for her 3rd foul. Oh, excuse me. It was on Asia Blackwell, her first.
Yeah, Franks is what I would love to see get some touches and see her get involved in the half-court offense from Mizzou as well. Roper.
High up off the window.
Her ability to keep the ball away from the defender is spectacular. Roper is only, they say 5'9". I'm saying 5'6", maybe 5'7", as I stood next to her.
I think she's playing 6 feet tall tonight.
She's playing like a giant tonight. That little hesitation move to create the space, but Amber Smith is there for the block, but she keeps the ball as far away as possible and puts it high off the glass. Courtney, I'm impressed with Asia Blackwell. She right now is telling some of the veteran players, next play, next play, next play. You don't usually hear a freshman with that kind of maturity trying to inspire and settle her team down.
Here's Blackwell looking for her teammate. It's Amber Smith behind the three line. McKinney. Kiki McKinney can hit that. She's shooting almost 40% from three-point range. Oh, the spin from Amber Smith just went right around McKinney. Six points for Amber Smith. She averages 12.
Great job by Roundtree to follow up the miss. And she's shaking up. She's limping as she continues down the floor.
They were looking for Nene Cole inside. Jada Roper tried to take it back, and that's going to be the third on Roper.
Amber Smith, an undersized post player, but you don't have to have size when you've got footwork and can finish with that reverse spin move.
She was the SEC co-freshman of the year, her rookie season with the Missouri Tigers, and really she's been in the starting lineup since she got here. Robin Pinchton was telling us that she sat down with Amber Smith this week and just had a conversation, just wanted her to, she used the words unload her backpack about this season as being a senior, playing in a new role and trying to help this team with only a few games left in her career. She said, I told her, you gotta enjoy it.
It's been a very different season than anything Amber Smith has ever experienced.
Haley Frank is going to the line. They get Blair Green on the foul, her first. And that's got to be hard. I mean, Amber Smith, her entire career, has had a leader to lean on, to follow, to tell her what to do. And now, as Robin said, she's got to be Batman.
And it looks easy when Batman's in that role, as Sophie Cunningham had been. It's easy to be Robin, to kind of just chime in here or there. But it is a hard task to be a leader of any team or organization. You get no days off. You have to be consistent, and that's been the challenge for her this year. Not the consistent part, but just to move into that new role. We talked about everyone's role was new on the team, even hers as the returning starter. The way the offense is flowing this year is very different for her. More pressure on her to really create off the bounce when she's had others to set her up in the past.
6 straight points for Mizzou. McKinney double teamed. And now she's going to go to the line.
That one looked clean up top by Schutz. I wonder if she had her with the body.
That was they called it on Haley Frank.
I think Frank did get her from behind. Good job of McKinney from jumping in, but I'm kind of surprised Mizzou they had a foul to give, so I'm surprised they didn't foul someone on the floor and try to prevent Kentucky from even getting a shot opportunity.
McKinney returned after sitting out 4 games and had 13 points on Monday. Shot won't count. Missouri actually outscores Kentucky in the 3rd quarter. Cats still ahead.
In that basketball is basketball, my heart goes out to everyone affected by that crash.
Yeah, it wasn't just Kobe and Gianna. There were several others, 9 total people on that plane. On that helicopter.
Well, Haynes just made her presence felt as soon as she got back on the court with that pull-up jumper and foul.
That's the 2nd on Amber Smith. Sabrina Haynes has had limited minutes tonight due to foul trouble. Picked up 2 fouls, played only about 10 minutes in that first half. She's up to 9 points now, right at her average. Asia Blackwell is going to the line. 3rd on Amanda Pascal.
Well, coming out of the halftime break, you can see one major adjustment by Mizzou, and that is to go down low, either to Blackwell or Smith. 8 points in the paint for Mizzou in that 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Robin Pinchton told us this is a freshman who loves to watch film, and they've been looking at her shot selection. You asked about her shot selection today, and you know, just looking at, is that the best shot you could have taken there? What were your other options? And she's so receptive to that.
Well, I think it's hard. Again, this team has been struggling, and so my impression is Blackwell's just trying to help, but there are ways to do that. Mizzou mixes up the defense after that free throw and forces the turnover. But I think it's a natural feeling for a lot of young players. I got to do this, me, versus allowing the offense to come to you or working through your teammates, and that we can do that. And that's just a maturity piece. That's something that comes with experience.
Haley Frank. Oh, she had a lane to the basket. Kentucky ball. Amber Smith has her 3rd foul. No Ryan Howard in this game. She's out with that fractured finger. And you take a look at how Kentucky has really stepped up as a team. Chastity Patterson, Amanda Pascal, and Blair Green with more than their average when it comes to points tonight.
And we've seen it. Not one player's been trying to take too many shots. They've done it within the offense, and it's been at different spurts. We saw it was Patterson in the first half, and then it was Blair Green knocking down some big shots, and then Haynes now has opened up the 4th quarter with some points.
Kentucky's gotten 13 bench points compared to 4 for Missouri. Ten seconds. Haynes takes it quick. Missouri's defense has stepped it up.
Bottom line for Mizzou, they've done a good job on the boards tonight. They have out-rebounded. They have +8 in the rebounding but they have probably missed at least 8 point-blank layups. If you're going to beat a ranked team like this, you have such a narrow margin of error. You got to make those layups.
They've missed layups, and then they've also missed a lot of threes, which is a key component of their offense. They've only hit 1. They're 1 for 15 from 3. Now 1 for 16.
But what we're seeing this half compared to the first is they're at least getting those shot opportunities because they're taking better care of the basketball.
Saturday on the SEC Network and the ESPN app, it's the men's turn to take over with a double hoops doubleheader. Say that 5 times fast. Arkansas tips with Alabama at 6, and then the nightcap heads to Music City. Commodores looking to find a little memorial magic against the Gators coming up on Saturday. That's on Kiki McKinney. Just her first.
First personal foul, second team foul on the board.
And McKinney only has a point, but she's got 5 rebounds in this game. This is her second game back from those severe headaches that kept her out of 4 straight games.
She is instant energy for Kentucky. She plays with such passion. And, I mean, I said to her today, you're a little dramatic. She said, yeah. But she's fun-loving. I mean, it's a blast to watch this young lady play.
And she's been that way since she got there. I mean, there was at one point, they had a team meeting her freshman year, and they said, look, you just need to be the leader. Be the vocal leader. It's okay. We're fine with you doing that as a freshman. Just do it.
Well, McKinney did not travel with the team to LSU because they were just trying to get the headaches under control for her, and she had been traveling until that point. And they all said there was a big void without having her on the bench because she is that cheerleader, the energy person. And she's not happy right now that Amber Smith took her to the rim and scored.
It was funny, Kyra Elzy, one of the assistants for Matthew Mitchell, was joking with us today. She was so glad Kiki was able to play because she just talks nonstop on the bench. She said, sometimes I couldn't even get my thought right in my head because Kiki was talking the whole time. They definitely want her on the floor for multiple reasons.
Well, I think it's important. Your bench has to be a catalyst for players on the floor. I think so many times it's the other way around. The bench waits for something good to happen on the court. When your bench is that lively and energetic, it only is going to help you, especially with a team like Kentucky that is pressing and exerting so much throughout a game.
Sabrina Hayes, who's usually a reliable 3-point shooter, is 0 for 4 from behind the arc. She hits 44% of her threes.
Well, and Matthew Mitchell said she's better at a catch and shoot stepping into it, and that's what she had. Unfortunately, couldn't knock it down. But credit Haley Frank with pushing in transition and drawing the foul. They must have blood on the floor because they're using a special liquid of some sort to wipe it up right now.
Yeah. Well, Haley Frank is going to be at the line.
So Robin Pinchton has grabbed her other 4 players, huddled them up. I have to believe that maybe a defensive change is about to occur, trying to just force a turnover and try to go on a run here to get back in the game.
All of Haley Frank's points have come from the free throw line tonight. She's got 6. Patterson all the way through.
Well, Mizzou's going to go try to trap that first pass, but they couldn't catch Patterson when she put it on the ground.
Pascal will take it. And Nene Cole hustles after the rebound, a fresh 20. Oh, Amanda Pascal. Ooh.
That's just nasty.
We've had a spicy tonight. We've had a nasty. Amanda Pascal with 13 points.
Well, Matthew Mitchell said she can do a little bit of it all, and she just saying, I think she's the best basketball
she
player.
told us today she walked into the men's practice. John Calipari started talking about her and came over and gave her a big hug.
I'm sure that made a lot of Wildcat fans like, what?
Yeah.
But that's my faith in Ryan Howard. The way she can impact the game.
I mean, the reason they won that Alabama game was because of Ryan Howard. She had a school record 41 points.
Well,
43 points.
37 points to lead them to beat Tennessee. And then, yes, backed it up with 43 points. And that was remarkable to watch that game because it wasn't like she was just getting to the rim. She was knocking down threes. She was doing pull-up jumpers. Anything they needed, she was ready to make happen.
Blocking foul on Patterson, her fourth. I mean, Kentucky has done a good job of stepping up tonight. There have been multiple players to fill that void that Ryan Howard has left, but I mean, they need her back to compete with the top teams in the SEC.
Well, they've had Florida on Sunday, and that's a game that really, I mean, Patterson had a huge game at Florida for Kentucky to get the win. Alabama, they struggled with at Alabama. I mean, none of these are given for Kentucky. They're going to continue to need a complete team effort to keep getting the W's.
I'm kind of looking, too, at that rematch with South Carolina because Kentucky came out and they didn't look like a Kentucky team that we had seen all season. South Carolina hit the gas from the beginning, and they never let up. And, I mean, Kentucky gave up 60 points in the paint to South Carolina.
Well, and they've been getting beat in the paint pretty much every game. But one thing Matthew Mitchell told me after that game, he said, we changed practices. We started going shorter, and everything was competitive. Any drill we did, it's competitive because he said, I just didn't feel like it was there in that South Carolina game.
Well, Chrissy, I actually went to those practices after that South Carolina game. I had them the next game, too. They were some of the toughest practices I've ever watched because every time there was a mistake, they were running. They ran so much. I mean, I was wondering if they were going to be ready for their game on Sunday, but it didn't affect them at all. I mean, it was a different level of practice, and I think that snapped Kentucky out of it.
Well, it is hard to win, and it is very hard to win in this conference. The attention to detail is so important, and that's where winning, losing, home, away, the little things have to be done consistently. And I'm a big believer. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to a team is a loss because it gets you regrouped and focused on what you need to do.
Jaya Roper drives in and draws the foul. It's on Nadia Green, just her first.
That's one of those shots that I think Robin Pinch's going to say, Asia, we could have got a better shot. We could have got that shot later in the shot clock.
And Missouri is going to call timeout. Pascal hits again. She has 18.
On a Sunday, so they had one less day to prep than most teams do for their Thursday contest. And to try to get everybody solid again after the injury to Howard is truly remarkable. There's yet another turnover for Mizzou.
Yeah, that's number 18. Kentucky has forced 14 of their 19 opponents this season to 20 or more turnovers.
Here.
Oh. Tighten up. Tighten up.
How good is Roper? Like, you want your point guard to be that catalyst, to be that engine, and she has done so many little things for this Kentucky ball club tonight.
I feel like in her career, she came in pretty highly touted. She was a 4-star recruit, and it was a slow start to her career. But now, as a senior, she's kicked it to another level. I mean, in this game alone, I've seen her play some of her hardest minutes.
To come into a system like Matthew Mitchell, it's going to be difficult for any freshman to play and play well early because it's defensively designed and focused. And so you see now how these veteran players are just able to take an opponent out of a game.
Blair Green up to 9 points tonight. Hit a big 3 right at the end of the half, and then started the second half with a 3 for Kentucky.
And she's a player the coaching staff has said they're ready for her to consistently knock down shots because they know she can. And as long as Howard's out, they're going to need her point production, just like Mizzou needs Frank to keep knocking down those shots.
And that is the first field goal for Haley Frank tonight, and just the second 3-pointer for Missouri. Oh, Blair Green won't get the bounce. You just need one to go through, right?
Always. It gets contagious. The hoop gets bigger and bigger as you see it go down. And, you know, this is a good sign for Mizzou. I think they've battled here in the second half. Offensive execution has been so much better. For the most part, they've taken care of the ball because they're going to need that because the schedule gets no easier for them with Arkansas coming to town on Sunday.
You talk about a team that wants to speed you up. That's what Arkansas does, big time. I mean, they just walked all over Vanderbilt.
Well, again, it's transition defense for Mizzou as they get ready for Arkansas. The defensive pressure won't be like what they saw tonight, but there will be pressure on them. That's what Arkansas's offense does to you.
Hey, don't forget, stick with us after this game. We've got another SEC women's basketball game coming up. You'll get to see Tennessee, another top 25 team there, actually in Nashville, to take on Vanderbilt. And the Commodores beat Tennessee on their home floor last year in Knoxville. So that's coming up next, right after we finish up here in Columbia.
Stephanie Watt's done a great job with her team this year. Unfortunately, some injuries and sickness have derailed them a little bit in the last couple of games. But you always love those interstate rivalries.
Yeah, there's something different about Tennessee Vanderbilt. This is a Kentucky team that's going to trudge forward looking to get that top 4 seed in the SEC tournament, meaning they get the double bye. Definitely capable of it. We'll be keeping an eye on when Ryan Howard will be able to return for Kentucky. Out with that fractured finger. The good news is she doesn't need surgery.
He needed, and whenever she responded.
She was the one that was in the starting lineup and replaced in Ryan Howard's spot tonight. Easy for me to say. 18 points, a career high for her. That's going to be a foul on McKinney.
You know, I know that wins haven't come from Mizzou this year like they have in previous years, but what I still see is the culture in place that Robin Pinchon spent so much time establishing when she arrived here. This team is still there for one another. I told you in the Texas A&M game, it didn't go their way. They were getting beat by 20, but the bench was so supportive of one another. You have a chance to win as long as your team stays together, and that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Robin Pinchon told us, yes, it's been frustrating. I want to win. I hate losing, maybe more than anybody. But I've realized, too, I need to teach them the game and teach them some life lessons, too. And we're struggling this season.
Well, and that's what's hard in our society today. Everybody only judges coaches on the scoreboard. They have no idea how difficult it is to recruit. These families, these coaches, sacrifice their time away from their families to pretty much raise these young women and have them ready for the real world.
Asia Blackwell is going to be one to watch for Missouri in years to come.
Asia Blackwell is scoring for charity strike. 22 for your time.
Blackwell's got 16 points. She averages 13 a game.
For 15, Cassidy Patterson, entering for Kentucky.
Well, Kiki McKinney is limping off the court right now.
And that is one thing for Kentucky right now. They cannot afford any more injuries. That bench is already really thin.
Yeah, no Ryan Howard. Ogechi Onyegalibo is out in concussion protocol. She was not available Monday or today. You know, Kentucky came on the road and they did what they needed to do. They took care of business. Didn't matter that they didn't have their leading scorer in the SEC, one of the top scorers in the nation. Kentucky led the last 35 minutes of this ball game, and the Wildcats improving to 6-2 in SEC play. How about Amanda Pascal leading this group with 18 points, a career high for her, one of 3 Cats in double figures as Kentucky gets the win over Missouri 62-47.